Regular call board, regular scheduled board of education board meeting order. Are there approve the agenda? All those in favor?
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I thank everyone that's joining us for the board meeting tonight. And didn't receive any communications. We have one person for citizens open forum.
Last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, so I just wanted as a community member to express my appreciation to all the teachers in the 379 district, to the support staff, telex staff. I had the privilege of working with teachers from preschool to high school for several decades, and it's a rewarding job, but it's a challenging job. So I truly appreciate what they do. The last month was, I think it was, they acknowledged Marcy Schooley as a candidate for Teacher of the Year. She's worked for our district for over 40 years. She has been a blessing to this district, touched the lives of so many children, and we have been fortunate to have her. I wanted to read something from a Dr. Brad Johnson. He's an educator, just food for thought as a board. There should be a teacher on every board, school board, at every table where education decisions are made, because right now we are making policies for classrooms without the people who actually live in them. You wouldn't design a hospital system without doctors. You wouldn't build a plane without pilots. But in education, we leave teachers out of the room. And I know all of you have your heart in the right place and you want to be supportive of teachers, but I believe you can do better. And so I've been here when teachers ask for childcare and you had an opportunity to provide that and you said no. I was here when teachers submitted a calendar that they wanted and you said no, you chose a different calendar. I was here when you all talked about a cell phone policy with very little input from teachers. So I know next year is a new opportunity for a new start, and I hope that you will do everything in your power to be supportive of these teachers. And I challenge each and every one of you to spend a few days in the classroom, not an hour, not 15 minutes, spend a couple of days in the classroom and see what it's like. If you have a spouse who's a teacher, you already know. But if you don't, it is a difficult job. So I just think as a school board, part of what your responsibility is to be supportive of the teachers in our district. It's part of what needs to happen to keep them here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the state assessment presentation.
All right, we have our principals here tonight. And we are going to go through our assessment results, and I want to show you where a few things are before we have them each come on up. This is our spring 2025 results, but what they're going to talk about tonight is this was the results they had. They're going to talk to you about what they did this year to help support our students and their teachers and within their buildings. So before we start, just a reminder of our strategic plan. So that top goal area is the responsive culture of learning. That is where our improvement plan lies, and that is where this work is all geared towards, up in that top one. Another thing I wanted to point out on our website is the reports that we're going to show and use tonight are available. You can look up any district, you can look up any building yourself and get the details. So on our front web page, over here, Mr. Weller has moved this up here to the top. So this little guy right here says performance accountability reports. Just click on that and it will open up this page and you can pick any district you want, and even within there, the year and the building. So that's what the the next few snapshots come from and is available to anyone. So the first one I want to show you, when you get on these accountability reports, this comes from our district one. It takes the work of all of our students, 3rd through 8th grade, as well as 10th grade in ELA and math and 11th grade in science. And what it does is breaks down the different levels, the different areas, and then it shows you a trend graph out to the side with a line graph. So from 22 to 23, sorry, 22, 23 to 24, 25. So within those 3 years, with all of our students, we have decreased those in level 1. That has been a goal of ours to identify what students are in level 1, who's in the upper level 1, let's move them to the 2s. Or if they're in a bottom level 1, let's move them to an upper and kind of stair step it, whatever may be. And we have seen a shift in the 3s and 4s. And board members, I will make sure, I mean, you can look up the reports, but I will give this to you as well. It also breaks down for us subgroups. And so this is our free and reduced students. Again, we have increased the number of students in levels 3 and 4 from 24 to 25. And then our students with disabilities, our biggest gain with those students that receive services, we saw the biggest increase in levels 2 and 3. So moving them into levels 2 and 3. And you can see the trends out there to the side. So that takes into account the whole district. But tonight, each of our principals are here. And so on their slide, I have just their building. So that is district as a whole, but they're gonna have just their building when they come up. So we're gonna start, I believe, with Lincoln. Steph, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm gonna
Well,
make it big. so-
Perfect. Thanks you guys for letting us come tonight. We're sure excited. Some of this up here you've heard us talk about, especially the last couple times between Matt and I coming and presenting, but obviously at Lincoln, it's just our 3rd grade who takes it. Some of the things we've done more purposefully this year, but we've kind of continued to build on over several years with kind of Matt leading the charge on this. Is some really purposeful interventions. Alphabetic phonics is something that's taking place. I know several of you have come and watched some great lessons in our building. For several kids, kindergarten all the way through 3rd grade in our building, but also in other buildings as well. All of our staff are either completing their letters training or in year 1, so we're really excited about that. Our attendance meetings, we feel like is a big help here because if kids aren't at school, they can't be learning, so they can't be growing. So we've really made a push with our attendance meetings and we kind of touched on that, but looking also at that tardy piece, which is really big. Most of our classrooms start the day with ELA. So if you're running late, you're missing core ELA. So getting kids to school on time has been a big one. And then probably all of us will touch on this a little bit, but protected learning time is something we've really pushed for as a team this year, as an admin team, making sure our teachers and staff, everyone understand how important that if we're in that protected learning time, we're honoring it. So we're not watching movies, we're not going outside for an extra recess. We're really holding true to what that learning time is meant for. And then part of our KISA is those visible scoreboards. So having them up and posted around the building, shared electronically, our kids know it. So kind of silly, but I got for our principal appreciation day, I had kindergartners writing. Our principal always says 97% because that's our attendance goal. As a district, we have it as 95, but at Lincoln, we say 97%. So I have 5 things. Mrs. Lane always says 97%, and they're right. I do say that. And so it's kind of fun making sure our kids are in on that and buying in. And then honoring that PLC time for our teachers, making sure they're getting time to plan together, work together. And then this year, our academic team, as a part of Leader and Me, came up with kind of a slogan for our kids. And so every rise and shine, we all say together, we will grow as readers and leaders, which kind of encompasses everything for our goals. So Jacqueline, do you want me to touch a little bit on the mini tests? Is that okay?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so 3rd grade team came to me maybe in December.
Mhm.
And so we like to look at piloting mini tests a little different for state assessments. So there's kind of a variety of things you can do. Interims are those things that happen 3 times a year. You need to have like the big finale at the end of your state testing. Interims can take 1 day for ELA, sometimes a little more, 1 day for math, so you're losing that learning time. They're usually anywhere from 25 to 30 questions. They can take some kids solid 2 days of that window, hour each day to get it done. So they asked, could we, instead of doing those interims where we're losing 6 days of learning, could we pilot mini tests, which are 5 to 9 questions over the skill we're learning? So it's like taking that test, but in short, quick versions. It could take the kids 15 minutes. We could take it as an exit ticket. We could take it right at the end of the lesson. We're still getting that data back. Kids are learning about author's purpose or main idea, and we're getting those answers quicker and more purposeful, because sometimes the way the interim falls is you're taking it in February, but you haven't learned that content anyways, because it doesn't fall until April for our standard alignment. So we're like, we probably know they're not going to know this yet. So we're looking at this idea for next year. Jacqueline's kind of pitched a rough outline of what that will look like. Staff will have to spend some of their summer time together building that. So we're really excited to meet
Part
her.
of their
Flex
flex
time.
day that they get
Yeah.
the day off in January first, so.
Yeah, so what we're seeing on ours for our 3 and 4s is ELA is going up. This is also what we're seeing on our Ames web, on our day-to-day classroom, which tells me we're seeing good things with our letters and our alphabetic phonics, and the interventions we're putting in place are doing what they're supposed to do. Any
Maybe I
questions?
did this mixed up with Ames Web.
Yes,
But which levels like at grade level?
level 2, 3, and 4. So 2s and 3s are our grade level. 4 would be above grade level, 1 would be below grade level.
We will bring back that Ames web, which is a basic reading screener. We'll have that data for
For
you in
June.
June. Mhm. Yeah. And as our different principals come up, we've asked them not necessarily to repeat, but you know, like they all have attendance meetings, so maybe and I think attendance meeting is written on each of their slides, but if there's something different they want to add to that, because there's a few things on here that you will see on each building coming up, so.
I think that's the nice piece, is that we're all unified. So a kid leaving Lincoln can have the same expectations as going into Garfield, or even if they transferred out to Wakefield, we all have those similar systems in place for student success.
So for 3rd grade, this is the first time they've taken any state assessment. It's the first one.
Correct. Yep. And so that's why the interims are important. That's great, Tracy, because otherwise if they show up in April to take this, they don't even know how to navigate it. So instead of doing those interims, just those 3 times, we're thinking, gosh, could we get this in, you know, just short questions, short little tests every couple standards to practice those computer skills. And they're much shorter and they're more purposeful because they're on the detail or the standard that they're learning.
And then what's the next grade that this group of students will go to state assessment?
Yep, so then they'll take it 4th and 5th.
4th and 5th?
Yep, but at 3rd grade, we only take ELA and math. At other ages, they take different assessments.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's why there's an A on the assignments, because they don't. Okay, Rachel, are you ready?
Yep.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank
you.
All right, well, like both of them mentioned, you should see a lot of cohesion between our schools, which is the whole point. We've worked really hard as an admin team to make sure that we are very cohesive and working together. So I will not read you everything on that screen. We'll just talk about things that are pertinent to Garfield. We're really excited because of our certified staff. 11 of 13 will be finished with our letters training by the end of the summer. Our big initiative at Garfield this year was a walk to intervention, which is targeting reading. And basically what that looks like is that students are broken up into different ability level groupings to go to a teacher to work on specific reading skills. So we already were doing some of this with students who needed specialized instruction for alphabetic phonics, or if they had an IEP and needed reading support, they would do that already. But we also knew that there were a few stragglers that we weren't being able to scoop up and get everybody in an intervention that was suitable for them. Prior to doing walk to intervention, just the homeroom teachers did that, and they would have small groupings in their classrooms. And so they might have level groups in their classrooms, but now at Garfield, our whole school moves during this time frame. So it's been really very neat. We have, like I've said, special education teachers who are still providing goal work and services that way. We have alphabetic phonics teachers teaching to students who need phonics intervention. And then we also have a comprehension intervention, a phonics intervention that is not as intensive as alphabetic phonics, but is still for students who need support. And then we're really pleased because 7 of our interventions are actually on or above grade level. And so that's been really nice this year, is because we've been able to give some of those students who need reading enrichment opportunities a chance to really soar. Sometimes it feels like our students who are already really successful in ELA, we just kind of herd them along with the group. But this year it's been very purposeful for them. We've had, you may have seen our Junior Bengal newspaper that's been written by our highest level 5th grade group. We have students doing Genius Hour projects, which do a lot of research and writing, presenting topics. We have 4th graders making magazines. We have different novels going on with discussions there. And so we're just giving opportunities for students of all ability levels to really focus in on their skills with reading there. So it's been a big change for our staff, but now that we're starting to see it pay off both in Ames Web, and we're hoping in our state assessments in the next couple of weeks when those come back, we're really proud of our work that we've done this year too. We were also able to increase our alphabetic phonics numbers. Like Mrs. Lane said, they have been doing alphabetic phonics down at Lincoln. And so by the time they get into Garfield, several of the students have been in there for several years and their scores look really great. They're ready to phase out. We were happy to phase out probably about 60% of our alphabetic phonics kids this year, just because they were successful. They were meeting their targets, and that opened up a lot of space for students that had been missed, or we had several non-readers move into the district at 4th grade, and we knew we had to get those children help ASAP. They could not go another year not reading. And so by having a really successful alphabetic phonics program at Lincoln, and then transitioning them to Garfield, we were able to open up some of those spaces and allow more students opportunities. So we do take the science state assessment in 5th grade. We take math and ELA both years. Social studies also happens in 4th grade, but it's more of a project-based assessment. And so you'll consistently see scores for math, ELA, and that encompasses 4th and 5th grade, and then science is 5th. Any questions about Garfield there? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mark. So Mark has 2 slides because they break up the KSDE Wakefield is 2 buildings. So keep in mind, Wakefield Elementary is actually K8. And then high school is 9-12. So this is K8. So this would represent grades 3 through 8. And then the next slide will represent just 9-12, and then he'll share his stuff. So I'll give you a minute. I couldn't fit it all on one. So the 8, probably easiest to look. In 8th grade, and then the math. And then this. No why. If it was a smaller. That probably is why that is showing it. What?
One of the, as far as the elementary, one thing we did this year is we had all a common plan time. Where we're coming together, seeing what's going on in the cost. What helps bringing us together, what to do and whether how we're going to be other questions asked. With the A lot of the testing. Kids. More of the opportunities for the kids to be able to show what they know. It's getting really frustrated what they don't know. As far as it's getting to the teachers, getting feedbacks on what would happen in the classrooms, what you like, what you don't like. To be definitely. ELA teachers for middle school